So this is the Ocean House kit. This is what the kit will look like. DIY decor kit. And it's got all your little goodies and everything in here. So let's go ahead and open this up. And we try to keep these kits priced really nicely for you because we have found that so many people love making their chunky wood houses that they like to gift them also. So maybe you have a friend that loves the ocean as much as you do. Maybe she lives near the ocean or something like that. These chunky houses are really nice little gifts to give people. So this is where we're starting. We have this custom cut. We actually cut these ourselves, these custom cut chunky wood house. You're going to have a couple of napkins in your kit here. One of them is this one, which I love. It's the one that has the ocean floor on it, which I love. We're also going to be utilizing the little mermaid tail here. Now you're going to get a full-size napkin, so that's going to be plenty to play with, and it's also plenty in case you have an oops. And sometimes that happens, but you know, it's just nice to know you have some extra to play with. The other thing you're going to have in your kit is this little piece. It is a piece of a napkin, but there's lots of different options on here. So let's go back to mine. Remember how I did this My Happy Place, the beach, right? Well, look here. This is where I got it from. So I used the My right up here, and then Happy Place, and then the beach. But look, we have Surf Club to the Long Beach. I love this beach right here. So we're actually giving you lots of options. So you could actually put these on your ocean house if you want to, in any way that you want to. I cut my words kind of apart to put some on the front and some on the back, but you can put these little signs up however you would like, okay? Patty says she loves the ocean. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Debbie. That's awesome. Y'all are great. And thank you for whoever gave the stars. Thank you so much for that. I always consider that such an honor for y'all to do that. Thank you for doing that. I'm always humbled by it. So let's get to work on this. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing. You also have a little goodie bag, a little embellishment bag here. And you're going to see that this has actually some seashells in it. This pretty kind of netted ribbon, and then this really pretty aqua fiber, okay? So we're gonna use that when we top off our ocean house. So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna paint this out, and I do a little fun painting technique on this. It's the same, if you're in my napkin club, it's the same kind of painting technique that we did on our train cases. And let me get this painted out, and then if y'all would like to see my train case, it's actually ocean inspired. I'll give you a peek at it. I'm still in the process of working on it. In fact, tonight in our private napkin club group, we're actually finishing our train cases. So I'll show it to you because it is really beautiful, and it's just a great representation of some of the fun things that we do in my napkin club. So if you enjoy what you see today, as I play with these adorable napkins, then you might want to check out the Napkin Club. It might be something that you would really enjoy. We have a great group of gals there. Very creative, awesome, encouraging, uplifting group. So the first thing I'm doing, y'all, is I'm just painting my ocean house, my chunky wood house. And I'm using chalk and mineral based paint, okay? This is from Country Chic. It's what I carry in my shop and studio. I absolutely love it because it's chalk and mineral based, and that means I get really good coverage. It actually has a sealer already built in it. It's just beautiful, beautiful paint, and so I use it on all of my decor projects. This particular color is called Vanilla Frosting. And it's very appropriately named because it does look like vanilla frosting. It's kind of, it's not a stark white. It's more of a warm white. And I think it's just perfect for the house. So I'm just quickly getting a coat of paint on here. Thank you so much for sprinkling. Thank you, thank you. If you would like information about the Napkin Club, just post that in the comments. And then after the live, I'll go back and share the link with you, so that you can get all the information. Our next bundle is going to be shipping out Well, you'll have to sign up by August 3rd to get the next bundle, and then it ships out, I believe, on August 5th. Okay, so I've got a little coat of paint here. I'm going to dry this side really quick so I can flip it over. Thank you. I'm so excited to see who's going to win the kit. It's always so much fun. I love giving things away. So just going to quickly dry this side. It doesn't have to be like a super great coat of paint because like I said, we're going to do kind of a fun little technique on it today. So y'all are going to learn in this free workshop, you're going to learn a fun kind of painting technique and then also a little bit of an antiquing technique as well as napkin art. She's getting a little bit of everything today. Okay, I think that side's dry enough. I'm working on top of just a cut piece of drop cloth. Aw, thank you for saying that, Terry. I think the Napkin Club is awesome also. So much fun. Janet wants info. Okay, Janet, I promise I will go back and post a link to the info for you. Our next bundle is called the Painted Harvest. And so it's all harvest themed. You know, we're getting into fall, getting ready for fall, getting our decor ready. So it's got a fall theme to it, kind of a harvest inspired. And they're all napkins that look like they're beautifully hand painted. They're gorgeous. I'll be doing a live reveal of those actually Thursday. No, not Thursday, Wednesday. Wednesday, that's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Okay, let me dry this side really fast. And then I'm going to show you our fun painting technique. I know, you know, Davina, it's so hard not to say that word. And for whatever reason, Facebook doesn't like that word. So we try to use other words, spread and sprinkle, things like that. So silly. Okay, I think I'm good and dry now. That's the other thing I like about this paint is it dries so quickly. But y'all, you can use whatever paint you have in your stash. Don't feel like you have to have this kind. It's just one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm gonna push this brush over to the side. And now I'm going to play with this color. This is called Tropical Cocktail. It's a beautiful, beautiful kind of an aqua blue color. So pretty. And I'm going to be using a mister bottle. Okay, this is just water, just plain water in here. And I'm going to take just a little bit of paint, not a lot, just kind of a little. In fact, if you want to if you need to think of this a little bit more like a dry brush, well, it's a little heavier than a dry brush, but not a full-on paint. So I'm going to just kind of splash on some color right here. And then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to spritz it with my water mister, with my water. Whoops. Hang on, girls. Okay. So I spritzed it with my water, and now I'm going to float this paint. So this is a floating paint technique. So I'm not going to float it everywhere. Do you see how it looks like it's kind of running down? Like I want it to look really floaty, almost like a watercolor. Okay? So just really, really floaty. Let's do a little bit maybe up here and coming down the side. Not everywhere, just kind of in spots. Again, I'm going to spritz it with the water. And then take that brush again, and it just really makes it so pretty. We can just kind of float that water out. Did you see how I said water? I'm doing it because I want this to look like the ocean, right? Like I want this color to kind of look like it's just floating like water, right? That's why I spritz it with the water. It's a beautiful, beautiful look. So, so pretty. Let's do a little bit on this side. Oops, let's go on the opposite side here. And again, pretty when it's not everywhere. You don't want it everywhere. We still want some of our vanilla showing. And just dry brush it. You won't need much at all. We don't want it to be too bright. See, just letting it just kind of float right down the edge of your house. Okay, your ocean house. All right, let's put some on this side. What do you think about this technique? Do you like it? It's so easy, y'all, and it's so pretty. And this is the technique that we did for some of our base coating on our train cases. Let's put a little maybe here and a little over here. Again, very light. Spritz it with water. I love it. The chalk and mineral based paints are, you can thin them down with water, and I like doing it while it's actually on the house. Some of the water that you spritz on it can just kind of flow, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to kind of spritz the whole thing and let that water just kind of flow through that paint. Okay? Yes, you can try this with acrylic. Just be careful, Patricia, with your acrylic paint. Make sure, because acrylic paint is water-based, so you can do it. Just make sure that you're very cautious about doing too much at a time. You can always go back in and add a little more, but it's kind of hard to take it away. Okay, so it'll be very, very pretty. Isn't that just gorgeous? And again, don't put it everywhere. We just want it in certain spots, certain places. Really soft and floaty. Soft and floaty. That's a word, right? Floaty. Thank you for the stars, y'all. Thank you so much. And thank you for spreading this video out. Remember, one lucky person is going to receive this ocean kit. And it's okay if it's like lighter in places and darker in places. That's kind of what you want. We want it to look very unique, very original. Let me spread these out a little. No harsh lines, very floaty. Hi, Deb. I'm so glad you're watching. Oh, thank you, Debbie. You're talking about my t-shirt. This was actually a gift from a customer. Barbara King gave this to me. If you just look up Life is Good t-shirts, they have all kinds of cute t-shirts. Okay, so I just want to get this nice and dry. I don't want to get my fingerprints in it. All right, we're getting there. Getting nice and dry. This is going to look so pretty behind our napkins. Now we're going to do one more thing to our chunky house. Well, hello from Greece. That's amazing. What time is it in Greece? I'd be excited or interested to know. Oh, thank you so much. Is it Elmarita? Thank you so much. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Thank you, Vivian. All right, so I think we're good and dry now, and I just absolutely love this technique. It's just so pretty. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of antiquing. And again, for whatever reason, just with this ocean theme, it just really works, okay? So I'm going to be using, this is Folk Art Home Decor Wax, okay? So it's a liquid wax. We carry it at my shop and studio, but you can also find this at craft stores, at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, places like that. It's a liquid wax. And and this one is actually the antique. So it's it's a brownish color. So I'm going to kind of slide my plate over here just a little bit. And I'm going to put a little goes a very long way. Did you see? I mean, like a little bit. You don't need much of this at all. You can always pour out just a little bit more if you want to. And I'm going to take, sorry, I've got all these paintbrushes. Let me make some room here. I'm going to take a little bit, just have a small paintbrush here. I'm going to take some of this antiquing wax. Actually, before I do, I'm going to get a baby wipe. I like to use baby wipes for this, so I'm going to get a nice wet baby wipe. And I'm going to start off here at the bottom of my house. And maybe a little bit on the edges here. Just a little bit at a time, okay? You can see that? And I'm going to immediately take my baby wipe here, and I'm going to kind of begin to wash, okay? I don't want to wash it all off, just kind of blending it, but I want this kind of shabby, antique-y look around the edges. And I really, really like it at the bottom because it kind of reminds me again of the beach or maybe even the ocean floor, right? Can you see that? It's very soft. That's why I'm not putting very much on. And I'm going to work in small areas at a time. Let's put a little bit up here around this corner area. And then again, just start kind of washing. And what I love about this is if you feel like you've got too much, right? Like too much going on, okay? You can see the top there. You're gonna take your finger and wrap it with a baby wipe in a clean spot, and then I can come in and just kind of clean this up. And I'm actually pulling it kind of from the middle of the house up to the top. Can you see that? This is kind of the look that I'm going for right here. I think it's awesome for the ocean house. I think it's so, so pretty. So let's come over here and do the other side. I'm going to do the two sides first, the front and the back is what I mean to say. And then we'll do the side, the edges. Okay, so again, going to crumple up my baby wipe. I'm going to start kind of washing this in. You want to do this in small sections because this liquid wax will start to set up really fast, and you want to be able to manipulate it a little bit. So I'm going to go to a clean part of my baby wipe, just wrapped around my finger, and now I'm just going to kind of pull from the top down. And I mean, if I wasn't happy with this, I could wipe it all completely away. I want a little bit more down here, I think. It's just totally up to you. Isn't that pretty? And it's so easy. You're watching me. It's so easy. Just take it easy with the liquid wax. Just brush a little bit on there. Better to do a little and go in and add more. Put some kind of up on this edge. And again, I'm going to come in and start just kind of washing. You can let it be as messy or clean as you want. I don't like it to be too messy because I don't want it to look dirty. I want it to look cool, like this. Kind of antiqued. Okay? Do y'all like it? I hope you like this look. It's really fun to do. So I'm going to come over here now on the sides, the actual sides of the house. Again, putting some at the bottom. I'm going to put some kind of right here. Same thing. I'm going to start kind of washing that in. So don't use too much of the wax. Better to go light. And then you can always come back in and add some more. Okay? All right, one more side here. I use this stuff a lot on my projects, and especially with fall coming, I'll be using even more. And actually this wax, I'll tell you another thing I love about this. It also comes in a clear, which is great because the clear you can actually tint with your paint. So you can tint it whatever color you want. It comes in, my favorites are the antiquing, which is the one I'm using now. I love the clear. And then also there is a white, which is really nice if you want to whitewash something. Really, really pretty. Okay, let's take a look. Look at my floaty color. And now I've got my little bit of antiquing on here. I need to do some right here on this edge. The little rooftop here. Don't want it to get left out. And remember, girls, if you're interested in this kit, I posted the shopping link in the description on the Facebook Live. We are kitting them. They're already shipping. We shipped a bunch out yesterday. And this is part of a series because we'll do our next, we do a house, a chunky house for every season, every holiday. And I just really wanted to do an ocean themed house. Okay, so there you go. There we have it. Looks kind of shabby and just floaty and shabby and just all of the things. Isn't it cute? Yeah, if you're just signing on, yeah, it looks like it was at the ocean, right? Looks like something you'd see at the ocean. You're so right, Chris. You're picking yours up from the shop, Tina? Awesome. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I'm going to go ahead and dry it. I do want to make sure that it's really good and dry before we move on. And once it's dry, y'all, it's steadfast, okay? The wax is steadfast. It won't react with water again. So like when we do our napkin art, it won't react again as long as it's dry, okay? So it is a good idea to dry it before we move on to the next step. I'm just using my heat tool for this. And y'all, I didn't really do anything special to the bottom of it, but of course you can if you want to. I have it painted, but I didn't do any of the floaty water. Noreen, it's Tropical Cocktail. It's this color right here. Tropical Cocktail. Isn't it pretty? So, so pretty. Okay. I think we're good to go. So I'm going to give you a peek just really fast at my travel case, okay? So like I mentioned, we're doing travel cases right now in the Napkin Club. And so I want you to see my beautiful travel case. So I did the same technique. Do you see the blue floaty water? Right? Now you're going to see other things because there's napkin art, there's fadeaway stamping, there's some background stamping. There's several things going on here, and I used the antiquing all around my case. So there's antiquing around like all the hardware, all of the stitching. Let me show you the top. Now my case, the handle was broken, so tonight I'm actually going to be sharing with the girls on how I'm going to recreate my handle. Isn't it pretty? So just so that you can see how this can look in a a much larger type of project. I love to repurpose things, and travel cases, train cases, that's one thing that I just absolutely love to do. Tina, you can find cases at like sometimes Goodwill, thrift stores, resale shops, estate sales, and even check like your what do you call it, like Facebook Marketplace, or if you have like a buy sell trade for your neighborhood or your community. But they're out there, and they're just so much fun to do. And you can even do like a child size case, or I don't know, a briefcase, a sewing box, a hat box, all kinds of things, Okay, so we're gonna move on now and start working on our napkin art, okay? Thank you again for the stars, y'all. Thank you so much. I hope that you will follow my page for more fun. Always love to have fun and share fun new techniques. Try to share things that maybe you haven't seen before. Okay, so I'm kind of chopping at this napkin, but we're going to do something to it here. I'm just kind of going around the ocean floor part. Okay, so I'm kind of hacking at it to start, but we're going to do something else here in just a second, and I'm actually going to cut this right here on the fold line. Okay. So I'm working on what I'm going to call the ocean floor. Okay, here's my ocean floor for one side. Here it is for another side, okay? But I'm going to do something special to this. And let me make sure do I have water in here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so what I'm going to be using, I'm going to go ahead and separate my napkin. Y'all, napkins come in plies, just in case some of you are not familiar with napkin art. And we have to take the paper plies off to get to the top tissue. So this is my method for doing that, okay? I call it the lick and stick. I basically just tap my finger on my tongue and my thumb on my tongue. And just tap your fingers like this so it gets kind of sticky. And then I'm going to pinch together on each side of this napkin, and look what happens. Just starts to come apart, right? So if that doesn't work for you, you could use like washi tape or painter's tape, or even just a little straight head pin. This particular napkin has 3 plies, so that means we've got to get off both plies. So I'm going to take off one, and now I'm taking off the next one. And I'm going to go ahead and take this one off as well. I have my ceiling fan on in here, so I hope my napkins don't go flying. But I'm in Texas, and it is super hot here today. Super, super hot. Somebody told me this was unsanitary, but you know, it's my own DNA. So as long as you're not, you know, getting someone else's DNA, I think it's okay. Okay. You can make sure your hands are clean ahead of time. All right, so I'm down to that top tissue. See how sheer it is? Like it's really sheer and see-through. Thank you, Paula. Thank y'all for sprinkling and spreading the crafting joy. One of you lucky gals is going to be a winner. Okay, so I'm going to lay these down on my drop cloth, and I'm hoping that you can see this okay. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm taking a water brush. Now, a water brush is a brush that basically you can put water in this chamber, and then it has a brush on the end. But y'all, you could do this with just a regular paintbrush and water in a cup, okay, or a jar. I just like using this because it's one less thing that I could possibly spill. Okay, so I'm going to take this water brush and I'm going to put water along the edges of this napkin. I don't want it to look cut. I want it to look hand torn. Okay, so let me kind of show you what that looks like. Can you see the water? See the water all along there? Now I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm using the eraser side. The eraser is great for this. And I'm going to hold the napkin down, and I'm going to pull, and kind of what I call this is a controlled tear. It's a controlled tear. I'm taking the eraser and basically tearing away through the wet part of the napkin however much I want to tear. And this gives me a really cool hand-torn, beautiful look. Okay, do you see how shabby that is? Isn't that cool? So it's really a nice way to do a controlled tear on something that is really fragile. Like these are really fragile. So let's go ahead and do it on this one too. So anytime you want a hand-torn look, it's so easy to just cut it and then apply your water and then take your, again, the eraser end is what I like to use. And then I just kind of start pulling, and I call it a controlled tear. It's a controlled tear, but it still looks really organic and natural. And it's perfect for the ocean house. Okay. And you'll have some little spitwad looking things that'll come off. Okay, isn't that pretty? A nice controlled tear. So great, especially for napkins. Anything thin, it just works so well for. Okie dokie. Okay, so I'm going to take my house now and we're going to apply our napkins. Did you like that tip? Yeah, it's a great tip. It's really nice. I've used that tip over and over in my napkinizing because I just got tired. I felt like I couldn't tear it in a way where it looked like I wanted it to look. Okay, so I'm going to be using, sorry, let me grab this. I'm going to be using Mod Podge Matte for my napkin art, to decoupage my napkin art. I'm on the record saying this, and I've said it to everyone that I know that crafts. I'm not a fan of the glossy. If you have glossy Mod Podge, I want you to just ditch it. Just ditch it and go get Mod Podge Matte, okay? The problem I have with the glossy Mod Podge is it never really feels dry. It's always sticky. Even months after it's been drying and sitting on your shelf, when you go to take it off your shelf, it's going to kind of peel away. Like, it's just always sticky, tacky. And I love the finish of the matte. It's very smooth. You don't have that issue with the matte. So the matte is in the yellow label. So I'm telling you, if you have problems with decoupage and you're using the glossy, you just really need to ditch it. And I know probably the people at you know, Plaid might not be happy for me saying that, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'm applying a nice healthy coat of Mod Podge onto the front of my chunky house, my ocean house. And I'm actually going to line up the edge with this edge, the corner edge here, with this straight edge of my napkin. And it's going to wind up being too large, but that is okay. I'm kind of tapping it down in place with my fingers. And then I'm going to use a chip brush. A chip brush is a great brush for what I use it for is for pouncing. It's my pouncing brush. These are super inexpensive. We sell them at the Blue House. They're less than $1, but you can find them at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, craft stores, Harbor Freight, everywhere. They're just great because it's a natural bristle brush and they're a little stronger. They have a lot of strength in them, and this is how I use them. I pounce up and down, up and down, up and down, all over my napkin. And what this is doing is it's helping me, sorry, I got a little goober right there. It's helping me to really push the tissue of the napkin down into the wood grain, okay, of the house. And that's exactly what I want to do. Look how pretty. Look at that torn edge. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So I'm going to go ahead now and apply some right here on this side. And I'm going to let this just wrap onto the side of my ocean house here. Again, just use your fingers gently. Be careful not to really push because if you do, the napkin could tear. Just kind of pat it down and then use your chip brush, which has nothing on it, by the way. Nothing on it. You're just using it as a dry brush. And eventually it'll start to look like this. And when it starts to look like this, like I'm almost to the point where I'll come in over my trash can and I kind of give it a haircut. And then I keep using it until it gets all, you know, split again. And then, you know, I just use them until there's like a nub left for the brush. And then I get another brush. Okay, so I'm just bringing that over completely onto the side here. Okay, so that's going to be my first step. I'm going to go ahead now and do the same thing on the other side. But I'm going to dry this first because I don't want to turn it over and it be wet at all. So I'm going to dry this a little bit before I turn it over. Okay. Hi, Gail. Betty says, I've used the water to tear, but not a pencil eraser. Definitely going to try it. Definitely try it. It just controls better than you trying to pull it like with your finger. Something about that eraser tip, it just works great. And if you don't like the eraser tip, if you want it to be smaller, it could even be like the end of your paintbrush, like if you want it to be a little smaller. But I really like using the eraser. Okay, so there we go. So I'm turning it over. I'm going to do the exact same thing now on this side. It's just going to be lined up on this edge. And the thing about napkin art is I mean, napkin art can be put on anything. So like where Betty was talking about with the using the water to tear, if you wanted to put napkin art on a card as like a card front, or really anything, and you want that hand torn look, it's a great way to do it. Okay, so again, just kind of gently tapping in place. Now I'm going to take my chip brush and really pounce this into that wood grain. I'll come in a minute and sand around the edges, but for right now, I'm just going to get this all in here. And I love how, see how the blue kind of shows through the shell, like in places, you can see the blue kind of coming through. I think that's so pretty. Okay, now I've got this happening. Let me show you. Do you see how I have this and it's kind of meeting this other star? So I have to decide, do I want that? I don't know. I don't really want them. I don't mind having the two starfish there, but I'm going to kind of cut away a little bit of this so it doesn't cover that part up. All right, here we go. That way both of the starfish show pretty well. And back with Mod Podge. Now this is going to overlap a little bit, so you need to put your Mod Podge over that other napkin. It's already on there. Okay. And again, push, push, push. So the whole bottom of our ocean house is going to look like the ocean floor. I love that. Okay, you can see it's still kind of wet. All right. Now, I want something right here. I don't want to leave this side undone, so I'm going to dry this really quick. And then I'm going to go back and take something from my napkin. Remember, I still have a whole lot of ocean floor here left. And I'm going to put it on the other side of the house. Okay, so maybe this time I'll just use this one. Okay, so I'm going to use like this. I think that looks really good. Now what am I going to do? Am I going to stick it on there? No, I'm going to tear it. I want to tear it. Everything else is torn. So I want this to have that torn edge also. Really pretty shabby look. So again, going with my water, just using a water brush and my pencil eraser. Perfect. I love how that looks all jaggedy, and of course I specifically tore it that way. So if you don't want it torn that way, you don't have to tear it that way. You could take off more. I just kind of took my eraser in places and just kind of drug through it. If you don't like the jaggedy, you don't have to have it that way. It all just depends on how you want to tear it when you do that controlled tear. Now look at this. So I have this extra right here, but I have my shell right here, and I really don't want to cover, I don't want to overlap that on the front. So I'm just going to sand that part off. So just pouncing that down, and I'm going to dry it. Anytime you're going to sand off the edges of the napkins, it's really important to dry it first, because again, if that napkin, that Mod Podge is still the least bit wet, it can pull the napkin. Instead of sanding through it, it can pull the napkin and tear it. And we don't want that to happen. Okay, so I'm just going to use a foam sanding block here. But you could use a piece of sandpaper or a little file, like an emery board kind of file. And I'm just going to sand that edge right off. And I'm actually going to sand all of the edges a little bit. Again, just like that kind of shabby kind of look, just sand through the napkin. And then if there's anything overhanging at the bottom, I'm just going to sand that off. I don't have much at all. Okay, so let's look at our ocean floor. Isn't it pretty? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So the next thing we're going to add, we are going to do a top coat on this, but not yet. We're going to go ahead and get all of our napkin art on it. Then we'll do the top coat, okay? I think if you go to Miss Tracy's website, you'll find the information. Oh, you want information about the Napkin Club. Elmarita, I'll be happy to post that after the live is over. I'll go back in. So whoever asks for info in their comments, I'll go back and I'll post that link for you. But you can find the information easily on my website at Miss, M-I-S-S, Tracy, T-R-A-C-Y, Creates, MissTracyCreates.com. And then all of my membership groups are there. You just kind of scroll down and you can click on the one. One of them will say Napkin Club. Okay? All right, so it's time to work on our mermaid. Our mermaid tail. That's what we're going to do next. So the mermaid tail, I'm actually going to cut out. I'm not going to do the tear. I'm going to actually just cut along her tail. It's a really easy cut. I'm using my little detail scissors here. So it's an easy shape to cut out. It's not hard at all. And I'm going to cut out two because I'm going to put one on one side of the house and one on the other side of the house. So there's one. And it's okay if you get a little bit of the background on it. Honestly, it's gonna just disappear right into your house, your ocean house. It's just gonna kind of disappear right into it, so you're never gonna be able to see it. All right, perfect. Let me get some of this out of the way. Okay, so now I have to decide, like, how do I want to do this? Now, you want to make sure that you're cutting one that's kind of, do you see how we kind of have a right fishtail or a mermaid tail and a left mermaid tail? So that way it looks kind of different on both sides of the house. So I'm thinking on this side, I'm going to have it kind of come, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my sample here, because I'm going to put the beach right there, and so it's going to be kind of coming up off the edge here. Okay, let's go ahead and separate the napkin. I don't know if you've noticed, but I always separate the napkin after it's been fussy cut, because if you separate the napkin and then you go to fussy cut that top tissue, oh my gosh, it's kind of hard to do because it's so delicate. It's so delicate. So to me, it's easier to cut it first and then separate it. I also think it's easier to separate it after it's been cut. All right, here we go. I'm putting on another coat of Mod Podge here where this is going to go. And this is going to look like she's just coming right up out of the water. Okay, you see that? So it does come off the edge, and we're going to sand that, okay? We're going to sand that really quick. I'm going to go ahead and turn my glue gun on. This can be getting hot. Do y'all have any questions so far? Oh, thank you, Kelly, for sharing that link. I appreciate that. I only have so many hands. They get messy. So it's hard for me to go back in and share the links. Kelly, did you know we live on the same street? We do. I live on Longleaf Lane and you live on Longleaf Lane, but you live in a different state than me. So every time I see your address come up, I'm like, oh, we live on the same street. Let's see, do you sell the houses and what size? Yes, we do sell the houses as blanks. And then we also sell the house, you know, with the kit. So we sell them both ways. I would say that this house is, in fact, I can tell you. Let me get I should know this by heart already. It is roughly 6 inches tall and right about 4 inches wide. So about 4 by 6 by 2 ish. Give or take a little bit. So see how I just sanded that off? Now I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Make sure that's dry enough to turn over. I think it is. So you could have your mermaid tail going different directions. It could go any way that you want. So maybe on this side, I'll have it kind of coming up more up to the top, kind of like this. I like that. Okay, that's kind of cool. So it can really, your mermaid tail can be on there any way you want. I'm going to do both sides a little different. More creative, more fun that way. Are y'all enjoying your little mini class? Your free workshop? I hope so. This kind of gives you a chance to see the way that I teach. And you also, of course, get to learn some awesome techniques. See? So this time, so see, like this one's kind of going over that way, and this one's kind of coming up this way. Okay? So let me pounce this. And then we're going to dry. Make sure it's going to dry. I think that's dry enough. And then sand off anything that's hanging over the edge. I don't guess I had to sand off her tail edges. I could have had them wrap around. I should have thought about that, because I think I did that on my other one. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I could have had it wrap around. So let's go ahead and have this one wrap around. I'm just gonna put it back together again. I got a little sander happy. There we go. Let's see if I need a little more Mod Podge. Right there. See if I can find that other mermaid tail. So y'all, when you're doing your kits, just wrap it around the edge there, because that is cute. I don't know if I can find the other one. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to move on. We're going to go on. Okay, we're almost ready to do our top coat, but I want to put some words on this. So remember, you have this option. You have lots of options here. Lots of options. So let me go back to the sample and show you. So on this one, I put my happy place and the beach. Okay? So you can put whatever you want. Let's see. I think I might do this one a little different. I think I'm going to use this little sign right here. And you may have to cut them down a little bit. Okay. So don't worry about that. So I think this time I'll use this one. It may be too long. I think I'm going to have to cut off the arrow. All right, so let me cut away the arrow. So I'm just cutting it down a little bit smaller. do it on this side. But I've given you lots of choices there, so you can choose whatever you'd like to see. Let's see, should I put it on in an angle? I think I'll just go straight. So this one's going to say big on it, beach. Isn't that cute? And I think I'll still do happy place on this side. I like that. Oops. I'm going to cut them in half. Separate them carefully. Okay, there's one. There's two, and then I'm going to use the my in this other one here. Who wants to win the kit? Are y'all getting excited? If you sprinkle and share out this video, oh, I said the bad word. If you sprinkle and spread the joy. I've got little napkin bits like everywhere. I gotta clean up real quick. But everybody that does that, I'm gonna go in. I have this little fun little random app generator, and it will automatically choose a winner for me. And then tomorrow I'll go live and announce who the winner is. And I'll probably do that. I think I have another live at 2 o'clock, so I will do that probably about let's say about 1:45. Okay, so I'm gonna do my happy. Place. It looks so cute. You just put them on wherever you want to. Okay, so now all my pieces are on, right? Thank you, girls. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Thanks, Vicki. Okay, so I'm just drying these a little bit, right? So here's what's going to happen next. I need to put a top coat over the whole house, okay? Now, this is why, and it's important, because even though as cool as these look, right, we're using them as art, napkin art, right? Beautiful, easy art is what I call it. It's still a napkin. It's still a napkin. And a napkin's purpose in life is to absorb, right? So I need to seal my napkin art, and I'm doing that by just putting on a light coat of the Mod Podge all over the whole thing, just a light coat. That's going to help seal my napkins, so that way if, you know, my little grand twins come over and they have M&M or Cheeto dust on their hands, you know, I can clean my piece. It's okay. It's not gonna hurt it. So we're gonna seal the napkins. It also is helping our napkins to become even more transparent. And I love when the napkins look transparent, because what happens is the more transparent they look, the more that they can look almost like they've been hand painted. They just look gorgeous like that. Okay, let me get a little bit here on the sides. Then I'm going to dry it, and then we're going to talk about pen work. And then after we do our pen work, we're going to top it off, kind of like I call it all the frills. We're going to add all the frills. And I go ahead, even on the parts that don't have Mod Podge, I go ahead and put some Mod Podge on top of those as well, just to seal the whole thing, the whole shebang. Okay? Did you order, Holly? That's awesome. Yes, Kelly, the beach is your happy place. That's awesome. I just think it turned out so pretty, just absolutely gorgeous, and I just could not be more happy, more pleased. And it'll be fun to see everybody's, because depending on like how much of the paint that you float, remember our floaty paint technique, or how much you antique, everybody's is going to look a little different. And even different by like which signs you use, right? So how many of you have gone to the beach this summer? I have not. I have not been to the beach this summer. In fact, my travel case, while I'm drying this, I'll just tell you, remember I showed you my travel case? My travel case, actually how I'm going to functionally use it is, I have been fortunate enough to teach on several cruises. And so I'm going to put in all of my cruise memorabilia, my photos. I'm working on some little, I've got a couple little mini books, and then I figured all of my, you know, all the stuff I brought back, you know, from my cruises. So it's going to be kind of like my little memory, my little time capsule of all my cruise memories. I'm excited about it. Okay, I think this is dry enough. Let's see. How do you know if it's dry? Well, you just have to touch it. Just got to touch it. Make sure that it's dry. Okay, so it is nice and dry. Clean off my space here. Now I'm going to show you something, because I want you to see the difference. And keep in mind that the houses are going to look different, because I may have floated more water, you know, in a spot than another, that kind of thing. So look at this one, and look at this one. Look at that one. That's the one we just did. And look at this one. Do you see how this one really pops out way more than this one, right? Y'all, that's because of pen work. I'm going to do some pen work, and I absolutely love doing pen work because of that reason. It just really makes things pop. So I'm going to be using Pitt pens. My favorite mixed media pens for pen work, doodling, journaling, all of the things are by Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And I love the set. We carry the set that has like it has 4 in it. It has like a brush tip, a medium, a small, and an extra small tip. And the reason these are great is because they're made to work with mixed media. They're made to write on top of paint, or Mod Podge, or gelato, or watercolor, or whatever else that you have, okay? They're made to play nicely with other mediums, okay? Now, the other thing I love about them is when they're dry, they're steadfast. They won't react with water again. They're waterproof, they're smear-proof once they're dry. So I'm going to take my pen here. I'm going to use the small nib. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, and y'all, I'm going to call this like a doodle trace, okay? Kind of like a doodle trace. Honestly, the faster you go, the better it's going to look. It's like an artsy, kind of artsy, doodly look. You don't have to have it everywhere. And just follow the details on your napkins, okay? So I'm going to do very quickly, I'm just doing the scales on the mermaid tail and her fin, her tail. It's not a fin, is it? That's a tail. And again, it's okay, just kind of, you can kind of just do it. Now look at her tail. Now look at that tail. Hasn't been done on that side yet. And look at that tail. Do you see what I mean? Like it just really, really, really pops. I'm going to do it around my beach sign here. Now, I also like to do something that I call a double trace. And that's where I'm going to trace around something once. And then I'm going to trace around it again. But I don't care if my lines meet up. In fact, I don't really want them to meet up. And what that does is it takes the pressure off of everything having to look so perfect. So do you see the double trace around the beach sign? Isn't that cute? It just takes the pressure off. This is not, this type of tracing, this type of pen work is not meant to be perfect. When your hand naturally lifts up, just skip a little space. Okay, the lines don't even all have to be connected. Just skip a little space every time your hand just naturally lifts up. And it just looks amazing. It really adds to the handmade, hand kind of painted quality of your piece. And it also really helps it to pop. Okay, so I just did the beach letters. Isn't that fun? It looks like a real wood sign. Exactly. Right? Oh, it's going to get something on the roof, Davina. It's coming. That's coming. That's what I call all the frills. So I'm going to be adding that here in just a second. So I can do pen work all over the seashells, the coral. Now, one thing I will tell you, you don't feel like you have to do pen work on everything. I'm not doing it on all the green stuff, like the seaweedy, I don't know what you call it, the seaweedy green stuff. I'm just doing the shells and the coral reefy looking stuff here, and I am going to do the starfish. So wherever that kind of crosses over, and I'm going to do a double trace on the starfish. I think that'll look really good. You can do a double trace on whatever parts you want. Honestly, I like doing a double trace really on everything. So I'm doing my seashell, and now I'm working on this orangey coral. And then I'll show you how we're going to top it off. Okay, isn't that pretty? I love it. Now don't forget to kind of come around here on your sides too. You've got starfish and things on the side if you want to do a little bit of pen work on those. And like I said, don't try to make it perfect. It looks better when it's wiggly. Okay, I promise you, it looks better when it's wiggly and just a little more natural, kind of artistic, doodly, more organic. And it definitely fits kind of the look and the feel and the theme. Okay. Right? So pretty. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to do the pen work on this side yet because I've had you on here quite a while. So let me go ahead and show you how now we're going to finish off the top of the house, okay? And then I'll show you the other sample house so that you can see. So in your kit, you're going to have a little goodie bag just like this. This is going to go together really, really fast, y'all. So you've got some seashells. There's, I think there's like, you should get 3 different little seashells in here. Now they may be different by kit, but they should all be kind of like this, okay? A little bit of this kind of aqua fiber. And then this is actually a ribbon. It's a netted ribbon, but I love it because it kind of reminds me of like a fishnet kind of feel. So for me, it was great for the ocean house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fiber right here, okay? And I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, folding it in half. And I'm going to lay it down. You can just lay it down on your mat and then put this netting kind of right in the center. Okay, and then we're going to tie this off while it's doubled. We're just going to tie it off in a nice tight knot. Okay, so we're going to wind up with this. All right, this stuff is wired too, by the way, which is nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a bow with these fibers while they're doubled. Tie it up while they're doubled. Okay, so now I have a little bow. Next, I'm going to cut the end of that one, and I'm going to tie off little knots in each tail of this doubled bow. So you're going to have 4 tails. So tie off a little knot in the end of each one. Otherwise, it's going to really, really unravel on you. So just tie off little knots, and then we'll just cut off underneath the knot. I'll show it to you just a second. Let me get these trimmed off. Okay. So see how each one just tied off in a knot? Just like that. And I'm using hot glue for this. Hot glue just works best, I think. I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side. You can do it on whichever side of your house that you want to. So I'm going to come in here with my hot glue, and I'm going to drizzle kind of a nice little blob there on my rooftop. Now I want you to be careful with this because this netting is, you know, obviously it's sheer. So just kind of push it down into that blob. And if you need to use like a, let me reach over here, like a popsicle stick, just something to kind of hold it because you don't want to burn your fingers. Okay, and then start kind of scrunching up the wire. I want it to look kind of scrunched up, and I kind of like taking away some of the pieces so that it looks really kind of scraggly on the ends. Okay, kind of like that. And then if it's kind of flying away on you, you can put just a little, like a little dot of glue. Not a lot, but maybe just a little dot just to kind of hold it in place. Okay, isn't that cute? Super, super easy. And now I'm just gonna glue on some shells. So I'm gonna put just a little dab on this shell. Let's see, which way do I want it to go? I think I'll have it go like this. Your shells can go on there whatever way you want. I need some more glue. I need more glue. Let me get some more glue on my glue gun here. Whoops. Nice little blob of glue in here. Kind of have to look and see kind of where the seashells touch. That's where you want to add your glue. Okay, so you can see I have a couple seashells there. And then I want it to look cute from this side too. So the third seashell I'm actually going to put back here. And that way again it looks just as cute from this side. Isn't that just darling? I think it's so fun, y'all. I think it's adorable. So let me show you the other sample again. Since this side, I haven't finished the back side of this. I still need to do my my pen work. all of those things. And then after your pen work is done, you don't have to seal it again unless you just want to. If you want anything to sparkle, now's the time when you can add like sparkle. If you want a seashell or your starfish to sparkle, you could go in and add a little bit of sparkle. I have not done that on mine. I left mine just natural, but again, I just want you to see kind of what it looks like. Isn't it cute? And now this one has pen work all around. Doesn't it look great? Okay, so I told you, thank you so much. I'm so glad that y'all love it. I hope that you love it enough and want to buy a kit. I think it's a great gift for someone too. So really quickly, before you sign off, I want to show you something. The houses look great just like this. Like you could just sit them on a shelf or sit them in a tier tray or something like that. But y'all, they really look good on a little riser. So we have these little candlesticks, these wooden candlesticks. They come in 2 different sizes. But look how cute they look when you actually put them on something that lifts them up. Then you could put a few little seashells down here. If you saw the pictures of this, that's what I did. But I'm going to take it a step further for you. I did this with my lemon house with a few little lemons in the bottom, but I want to show you how cute this is. Okay, I'm going to show you something else. Really, really cute way to do this is to just take a dish. Now, the candlesticks are a little too taut for this, so we actually have these. These were egg cups that we used in the spring, egg cups. But if you turn them over like this, and of course you can paint it out or however, or just leave it natural, they make a great little riser, okay? Egg cups. We carry them on our website. We also have the candlesticks, so whichever way you want to go. But I'm going to put the egg cup here, right here on this dish. And I'm going to put my house on this dish, and I have all these little seashells, these chunky seashells here in the bottom that you could surround over everything. And then I found this cloche, this glass cloche at IKEA, and watch this, y'all. Look how incredible that looks. Look how pretty that looks. And I know the light is shining off of it, but isn't that pretty underneath the cloche? It's like a bell jar cloche, you know. I just think that looks so pretty. And you could even sprinkle some sand down here, but I love it with the shells all down in the bottom. I just think that just really makes it look super special, super unique. Isn't that pretty? Yes, I think adding the sand too. I think that would be so pretty. So whether you put it inside of something, right? Because then it really looks special. And this kind of look with creating these little vignettes or these little decor ideas and putting them underneath glass can really, really make something extra, extra special, okay? So whether you do this, and I think y'all are probably gonna ask me, y'all, these were not much at IKEA. I know they were, I'm gonna say maybe $7. They weren't much. And I'm sure you can find these at other places too. And this is just a dish from my cupboard. Like this is just from my kitchen. But there's just something about putting it under glass with all those seashells. And maybe there's seashells that you've actually been collecting, right? Like that makes it even more special. But even apart from that, they look really good raised up. They look really good on a little riser, okay? Like a wood candlestick or these egg cups turned upside down. Like it's just like the perfect size for that, okay? Yes, IKEA for the win. I know. My husband's always glad when I come home with something that he doesn't have to build. And you don't have to build these. These were near like where they have all of their plants and succulents and all of that in IKEA, just in case if you're wondering where. Okay? All right. Well, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you for watching me create my adorable little ocean house.